Maybe she is Grace.
She is not Miss Universe.
I'm Gabby, that's Jordan.
Red flag, red flag.
I'm sure, I know I'm the villain in that story.
So what was the story from the papers?
So the papers basically just state that, I feel like pulling up the article and just reading it to y'all real quick, because this is so black and white and I'm so confusing. So this says, a woman who was charged alongside her husband with scheming to defraud says she and he were the victims. This is my mom being quoted.
This is in the Tampa Bay Times.
Yes. So my mom quoted, I regret nothing because I did nothing maliciously. She and husband, Michael Goodrich, 40, moved with their 8 children to Spring Hill. 8 children, I told you, wasn't lying. Last June, according to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, misleadingly borrowed more than $100,000 from their landlord, a local business owner, and one of their employees, using much of it to open and operate a restaurant in Cuban Girl in Spring Hill. The fraud charges against the Goodriches came after an investigation by Hernando authorities that began in February. Blank told the Times that she and her husband never promised to immediately pay back Norma Waste, that was the landlord, or Pa Jalo, owner of Jalo Oil Incorporated. Loans made to them by Waste and Jalo totaled $116,396.91. They also scammed $10,000 from Joseph Rodriguez, one of their employees at the restaurant. According to the sheriff's office, they went on a wrecking spree when they vacated the property, stuffing fish down the drain, stealing fire extinguishers. Those were the felony criminal mischief charges. Initially, it was a civil matter, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that was pretty much it. They said that they had the intention to repay them, but this started in February and we moved there in June.
So that happened quickly. Did he get arrested?
So he got arrested. I don't remember exactly when he got arrested. He bailed out and then we lived for...
He bailed out and then moved?
Yeah.
And nobody came for him and was like,
no, because it was approved. It was Polk, so as long as it was still Central Florida.
Okay, so you guys moved to where?
So then, this is like a really hard time in our lives. So then we ended up moving to Haines City. We lived in a house in Lake Alfred. This was when the SA got really bad. I ended up moving down to Miami with my grandma for a few months. They had opened a restaurant in Haines City. We lived in Lake Alfred. I dipped out for a few months. When I got back, we had moved to another house in Point Siena. And in that house, things were really bad. My stepbrother lived there. His ex-girlfriend lived there. Small house. Abuse did not stop.
So there was abuse happening there too?
Yeah, abuse never stopped.
How old were you at this time?
I was 12.
Okay.
This was probably like a year before he got arrested.
Who was abusing you in that household?
Mike. Mike never stopped. Okay. Yeah, Mike never stopped. No, like, it went on since I was 9 and...
Did your mom know about the abuse?
She knew later on.
So she didn't at the time?
No.
So it was like sneaking into rooms at nighttime?
Yeah. Yeah, and he used to tell me that if I said no, that he would beat the shit out of my mom or do it to one of my sisters.
That's the worst threat. It's like, as the older sibling, be like, well, I'll just do it to your little sister.
Well, one time I said no, and I woke up and my mom was like being dragged through the house. Like crystal plates, like when they would fight, he would break everything in the house. So if there was glass in his sight, he was slamming. If there was a TV, he was dropping. Like, he was reckless. This guy was very mentally ill. And so...
I feel like at the first sign of not mental illness, but at the first sign of, like, being dangerous and harmful to women or children, snip, snip, you're not having kids. Sorry, I know that's, like, a huge human rights violation, but, like, I feel like we should be snip-snipping. And that might be a very volatile opinion.
No, it's true.
I don't think people that have the capability of hitting women or men, you shouldn't be hitting men either, hitting anybody, like violent tendencies or abusing children, you should not be allowed to reproduce.
I think all pedophiles should be snipped.
Oh, I agree. I think the minute that you're like on the pedophile list,
snip,
you're done.
That's your consequence.
My question is like, why aren't all pedophiles put in like prison?
My question is, why do
they are? It's hard.
But then they get out.
My question is, why do robbers or XYZ get more time than a pedophile? Because to me, in my opinion, yeah, robbery and all that is bad, but sexual abuse is way worse. Like, I don't understand that about our court system. It's one of my biggest frustrations. I know so many...
It's the same way that, like, I think it's silly that, like, people go to jail for, like, weed for that long. We had that conversation. I went to Cracker Barrel last night with Bree and Tamika, and we had the conversation of, you know, like how long people are in prison for weed and stuff like that, and all of these different things on like how in these programs they're working on recidivism, and recidivism for pedophiles, they do their programs in-house in prison. They usually have good time served with good behavior because pedophiles try and stay out of the limelight. Like statistically, the pedophiles really stay in their own corner. They don't mess with anybody. They
people
don't get
like
in fights.
that in there.
Yeah, one, they don't get in fights. So if they make it through without dying, they're one of the first people out on like good time served. And then the hope is that the recidivism training works. But I don't believe that you can.
That's
okay,
like
this is
saying
gonna
you
sound bad.
could pray the gay away.
Well, so I was just about to go there, and I didn't want to be too controversial, but they do say, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been a lot of controversy because pedophile, like, people are coming out of the woodworks and being like, being a pedophile is a preference just like gay is, so we should be treated like
yeah,
gays.
we talked about that on a few episodes ago when I said they're trying to desensitize us to pedophilia.
Well, but no matter what we were talking about Hollywood, obviously,
Yeah.
when we talked about that,
Yeah.
and that episode hasn't aired yet, but I think the point here is there's like non-celebrity pedophiles that are coming out and being like, well, actually it's like a sexual preference, so I can't be penalized for it, blah, blah, blah. And what I have a problem with is like, you're doing something that's literally harming somebody that can't consent. So like in the end, no, like it's not a sexual preference. Like if you want to be into younger girls and you're an older guy or an older woman, that's fine if you want your of age consenting partner to do something like that. I mean, I'm not saying I like it, and I'm not saying that it isn't sick in its own way, but if that's something you can legally do and like fill your sexual preference, cool. But it's not like being gay, and that's what I was gonna get at. Is it's not like it's like people saying, "Oh, you can pray the gay away." Like I think when you're gay, and that's or if you're bisexual, you're bisexual.
And when you're a pedophile, you're a pedophile.
Yeah. So like, there's no recidivism for it. So for me, or there is recidivism for it. So it's not like something where it's like doing those programs in prison is gonna fix that for you. Maybe you're so scared shitless to go back to prison, you don't do it again. But like, I don't think that changes how you feel.
Or you do
about
it again, and you're just more careful this time.
You're just more careful not to get caught. I don't think that it's kind of like.
Could you
when
imagine?
You're gay, and I truly feel like people that do that to children, especially like younger children, like I don't think they change.
No, like I think about my stepdad now, and I'm like, he's in prison. He doesn't have the label. No one knows to this day. Like that man has been a pedophile for over 20 years.
To jail for.
Exactly.
I will say too, I think that the part that's overlooked as well is, unlike being gay, like you being gay doesn't affect anybody around you. The issue with pedophilia as well is when you're abused, and obviously, fortunately, that's not a problem for you, but when you're abused, statistically, it means you become an abuser in your later life as well. Like that is, it higher your chances, especially in males, it's less in females.
And a lot of the times too, it's not just sexual abuse, it could be emotional or mental.
Yeah, and so basically, pedophiles are creating more abusers as well. So it's one of those things
and
where...
it's because they're scarring people mentally. They're changing the way that their brain thinks.
I'd like to assume that how you were saying that your older stepbrother also abused you, it probably came from his fucking dad.
We say that.
So, like, I mean...
So, to that...
Wait, before you get into that transition here, almost, because I know we were talking about this earlier, you being SA'd, do you think that affected your sexuality?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely know it. I know it did because, and it's kind of hard to speak on because in a way I feel like when people say that, people think it invalidates my gayness, if that makes sense. Like, oh, you're not really gay, you just like women because of your trauma. Like, I've heard that before. And
but
it's true. Yeah, I like women because of my trauma, because I emotionally cannot feel safe with a man. I think it also comes due to the fact that I've never had a man in my life that has like stayed around. Like my stepdad went to prison when I was 14. I never knew my dad. My mom's always had like boyfriends in and out of the house, and she started dating women, and it was like I've never had a male figure to stay, so I quite frankly do not trust men.
I don't think that makes you less gay. Like if you put it in a straight like scenario, let's say we're going off preference. Let's say it's looks. Let's say it's race. If your dad is one race and you're attracted to that race, that doesn't, nobody's going, oh, well, you're only attracted to that race because your dad is that race. Like, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just preference. You chose women because you prefer not to be ever in a situation that could turn into that.
Yeah,
That does not
exactly.
make you any less gay, and I don't like that people say that to you, because like it's the same way that I have a type. Like Kyle's gonna be really mad. So I've actually, not all of my exes are military, but I have quite a few exes that are military. And obviously Kyle's not military anymore, and he wasn't when I met him. But I do tend to fall towards a military style guy, and here is why. I like men that have shit to do and they're not in my business. I like structured men, which military men naturally, like, they have, you know, they do their thing. I like when I'm given my independence, which they're busy, they don't have a lot of time on their hands to like check on me. And I've always just kind of liked that, like, they're motivated people because they're naturally trained to be that way. So I do have, and it's always a funny running joke, because like even when Kyle was like, oh, I just separated from the military when I met him, I started laughing hysterically. And he tells me this day that that was a red flag, that he almost like didn't go on a date with me because he was like, oh, I thought you were like they have a word for it. It's like a military bunny,
Like a
or
homie
something.
hopper?
You know how like there's ski bunnies,
like a puck bunny.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they have like a military
Military.
phrase for it.
Yeah.
And
Is that like the equivalent of homie hopper, but not homies with military men?
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of, yeah. I mean, it's just like having a type, and they have like names for it, like
Okay.
a ski bunny or like a puck.
Puck bunny.
I've never heard
puck
these
slut.
things.
Puck
That's what I
slut.
heard.
Puck bunny.
But it's just like, or like a cleat chaser. You're into
Yeah.
athletes. Like
Okay.
there's nicknames, and there's apparently one for military, and I don't know what it is. And Kyle thought I was like one of those because I like laughed when he said he was ex-military, and I was like, I can't escape him. And I usually never know when I started dating them. But in hindsight, I only dated like 3. It wasn't like a huge deal. But it's one of those things where Kyle, even to this day, if I say things like, he had to get a haircut a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, you gotta get your hair in regs. And he almost like vomited. He was like, why do you know how to say that? Like, and I was like, because I've dated other military guys. So like, it's that kind of thing. Is like, I have a preference because I like a certain style or type of thing,
Of course.
because of a lifestyle I want to live. You want to make sure you're avoiding lifestyle. It's just,
Yeah.
mine is because I want a certain type of lifestyle. You're in an avoidance style.
Yeah.
So you're like,
And then as
let me
far as
avoid
my
it.
type, it would definitely be, I think my type plays into the lifestyle that I lived and what I'm looking for. Like, I'm completely different. So I like people who are emotionally available, are emotionally there. I like to know that you're thinking about me. I'm very much an attention whore. I'm the complete opposite. So I want you to check on me. I want you to ask me how I'm doing. I want you to ask me if I'm busy. I want you to
See, I
if
want to
there's
be
stuff I
left
can help.
alone.
Yeah, no. I want to be attended to like a queen, the queen I am. I want to be. All right,
I
this
like
sounds
good
terrible.
personal space. I feel like you don't. You're
No.
like be all over me, and I'm like, please give me 5 minutes to breathe.
Yeah, no. I want the clinginess. Like I want to have to tell you to get off of me. Like that's how I want to know that you're
So
glued to
your
my
love
hip.
language is physical touch.
Oh, 110%. Physical touch and like what is it when you like words of affirmation?
Words of
like
affirmation.
yeah.
I will tell you, I have a very strong theory after like obviously, and I've said it in past episodes that have already been heard, but like my criminal justice major, when I did a lot of different studies for theses, I have a really strong theory that people that are abused, naturally their love language is physical touch.
Really?
Because when you're abused like that, normally actually a lot of the times you see children become overtly sexual when they don't like pull away, they get more sexual because it's normalized to them.
That was
So a
definitely
lot
me
of
in high
people
school.
flow into that physical touch space. Obviously there are the people too that like then reject it and then they don't want any physical touch, but most actually fall more into the physical touch than they do out of it.
That was me. I was terrible in high school. I was a homie hopper. Y'all gonna know. The ones who know. No, I was terrible, and I definitely think that's why when you ask me like if my trauma related to my sexuality, I definitely think so. So I was with a lot of men in high school, and definitely men I shouldn't have been with, like older men.
Yeah.
Now as a 21-year-old, I think back and I'm like, y'all are sick. I was 16 years old, but
That's a whole nother level if they were also pedophiles.
yeah, exactly. So, but I was with a bunch of men, and every time it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. Like I wanted, I consented. I was there, even though I knew I was a child, and I guess technically I didn't consent.
Yeah.
I don't hate them for it because in a way I was a little booty, but I never felt safe. And then the first time I got with a girl, I was with girls in high school, but I think that's very different. That's very much flirting, hee hee ha ha. I knew I liked girls, but I didn't know if I wanted to be with a girl.
Okay.
And so when I actually like romantically got involved with my first woman, I was 18, she was 30. I met her at a club, red flag. very toxic. But
I mean,
she showed me
I'm
the way.
also a strong believer in that women are also pedophiles. I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard the stories about the female teachers these days that are all up on. There's a girl right now, I forget her name. I think it's like Andy something. She was a fucking lunch lady, and she was sleeping with a 14-year-old boy, and she just got arrested. And she's married, and like was like pursuing this 14-year-old boy, sending him Snapchats of her naked body, and he'd be like, "Oh, I thought this was an accident," and then she'd send another picture, like. So women are just as bad. So when you say 30 and 18, I'm still like,
yeah,
that's
I wouldn't
a
say
little bit
she was definitely more apprehensive, and I was more of the
pursuer.
No,
Okay.
for sure. I didn't get those vibes from her at all. She was very cool. We met at a club. She didn't know my age off rip, because I wasn't banded at
That
this
makes
club.
it better too, I feel like.
Yeah. I wasn't banded at this club, and she didn't know my name off rip. I was 18. They should have put a band on me. They didn't.
That's a Gen Zer thing. Off rip. What does that mean?
Like right away. Like off rip. You know what that is? Yeah, right?
It's like off the rip.
Like off rip.
Off the rip.
Off the rip.
Can I
She said off rip, and Jordan goes, off the rip.
It's the same deal.
Like a true millennial. Like, bitch, what do you mean off the rip?
I didn't know we took out the.
Yeah, no, it's off rip now.
Damn.
So
Thank you. I'll start saying that now.
So when I got with her, I just felt different. I felt safe. This was actually the first relationship I ever introduced to my family, and given we'd never even really officially dated. It was
So
messy.
what was your family's reaction?
Honestly, do you want to know what happened the first night that my mom met her? Do you want to hear the shit show?
She beat her ass.
No, you guys are gonna fucking
She
scream.
wanted you to get married?
No. So we go out to this club called Parliament in Orlando, and I told this girl, I was like, look, it's my mom's birthday. Or no, bullshit. I said my mom's birthday's next weekend, but we're gonna go out this week if you want to meet us up there. So she meets us up there, everything's
Wait, you
cool.
went to the club with your mom for her birthday?
Oh, my mom's actual birthday, me and this girl went to the strip club where my mom worked.
Your mom worked
And
at the strip club?
My mom was a stripper and a bartender.
How is your mom a police officer? How is your mom an enforcer of the law? Guys, there's no limit apparently. You can be a cop after everything.
She has been transformed by the Lord.
She's a born again virgin.
If you ask her, I swear to fucking God, she'll tell you yes. And no.
Okay, wait, so she was a stripper. So you went on your mom's birthday, went to watch her at the strip club.
Yeah, I'll show you guys videos later.
I don't
videos
want to
of her
see
on
it.
I want to see
I know you do. So, anyways, no, this was not at the strip club. This was at a gay club called Parliament.
Okay.
We had got my sister, and my sister was only 17. This club is closed down now, so there can be no backlash. My sister was only 17.
Who cares if there is? They shouldn't be letting
Yeah,
children come
facts.
into their
True.
club.
Well, we lied.
Who cares? They should know better.
Yeah. So
Get better bouncers. That's all I
Jazz
can
got
say.
in there. Jojo came in. Me and Jojo were only team. Gina. Well, sorry, Gina, if you ever see this.
Are we good? Are we dropping
Yeah,
our name?
no. Who cares?
Hi, Gina.
Hi, Gina. This is a really funny story, and I hope you're reliving this with me. Anyways, so we're at this club. My mom starts saying that she wants her ex to show up. My mom was obsessed. This was like her first girl serious relationship as we were kids.
Oh, so she was dating a girl at this point.
Yes.
So your mom swings back and forth.
Yes. And so, my mom never swang until I swung. Let's just preface that.
Oh, your mom decided,
She
my
was
daughter's
jealous
a
of you.
lesbian.
I
Yeah, it sounds like she's a little bit jealous of you.
Yeah.
I came out as bi in freshman year of high school, because I was talking to this girl, and I wanted to tell her because the girl was coming over the house. And my mom came out 2 years later, my junior year. She
Why
started
does your
dating
mom
a girl.
want to be you?
Mom,
It's giving
if you hear this,
obsessed movie with Beyonce.
everyone sees it.
It's
I'm just kidding.
I can't say it's giving anything because there's no movie that exists where the mom
That's true.
is like this.
Should
So
we make a movie? I'll film it.
Honestly, can we do a recreation?
Jordan,
No,
Sure.
don't
Jordan
film it. Will
really
you play
wants
my
to-
mom?
No. No. What the flying
If Jordan's,
fuck
if
did you
Jordan's
just
got
say?
dibs on your mom, I've got dibs on you.
No.
I want to play you.
Can I be the director?
What is happening?
We are going to get canceled for this episode.
Honestly, if we have not been canceled yet,
This is the one.
we're going to be canceled in our next 4 episodes.
Our next 4 episodes are pretty volatile.
No.
I can't fucking wait.
they're-
Okay.
We're unhinged. I think I've cared less and less because I think my mom stopped listening.
No, my mom listens.
I know, but your mom's
Yeah,
a little
that's
more
true.
lax than
Yeah.
mine.
I have like 15
Yeah.
people that I've told I'm doing this, and they're like, as soon as it's up, like, I want to fucking hear it.
Good, tell them that they have
So,
to subscribe.
Okay, we're a little over.
Okay.
So,
Real quick, let me
last,
just tell you guys this
facts.
story real quick.
Okay.
Let me tell you guys the story and then we'll finish. So we're at the club. My mom wants her ex there. I call her ex. Her ex ends up showing up. Me and Gina are off to the side. We're just drinking, having a good time, hanging out with her friends. Preface this, Gina was a great person. I know we said she's 30, but no backlash to her. She was great.
Oh, Gina's the girlfriend.
Yeah, Gina's the girl.
I thought Gina was some random friend.
No,
Okay,
no.
I'm
Gina's the
I'm
girl.
on board now.
So we're there talking, whatever. Gina, my mom starts giving Gina shots. Gina had to work the next day. So I was like, yo, you gotta stop. She ends up getting fucked. So I told my mom, I'm like, look, I'm gonna walk her to her car, help her sober up a little, get her shit together. She needs to get out of here and like out of the light, needs to get to a place where she can pull herself together. So we walk outside. We stopped talking by the car for like an hour, hour and a half. And then my sister calls me and she's like, we're getting kicked out of the club. Mom was giving Jojo shots. She was so drunk, she was giving Jojo shots. So they kicked Jojo out. And I walked to the car. I was like, you gotta go. Like, you're good now. I gave her water, food. She was good. I was
She's
like,
30. She should
yeah.
take care of herself.
Well,
Not the
she was,
17-year-old
but
or 18-year-old taking care of herself.
I'm just mom. Like, it's just natural. People don't ask, I just do.
I know, but
It's
like,
terrible.
she's
I know.
30 and you were 18.
So, because it gets so much fucking better. You guys don't even know. I have videos too. I could literally fucking show you. So, I walk over to my mom's car. My mom is pissed drunk. I hadn't drank not a drop. So, I was like, yo, get out of the car. I gotta drive. And she's like, fuck you. I'm not leaving till you call my ex. And I was like, she's gone. She's not coming back. And she was like, fuck you. I'm driving then. And I was like, no, you're fucking not. So we try to pull her out of the car and I get in the driver's seat. She drags me by my hair, gets out. One of Gina's friends comes walking. I'm still very good friends with her to this day. Her name is Tracy. She comes walking out.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. She's
What's
probably
up,
gonna
girl?
hear this. She comes walking out and she was like, yo, like, do you need help? Like, are you good? And my mom she has her concealed, so she had her gun in the car. And she was like, who the fuck is this fat bitch? Does she want to get clipped too? And I was like, Tracy, I need you to walk the fuck away before something happens. Like, girl, go. This was the first night, this third night I went out with Gina. So now my mom has threatened to shoot her friend. I've been caught getting dragged out of the car by my hair. Ex pulls up. My mom's ex ends up pulling up because I was like, bro, I need you to get here because if not, I'm going to die. And she had a lot of love for us. Still does. Love her to death. She's probably going to hear this and be like, you little bitch. But I don't care. So she pulls up. She ends up driving home with my mom. And their friend, he's a gay guy. He gets in the car with us. This car ride fucking home. Everyone has to piss. So I'm driving, and everyone is pissing in a Yeti cup in the fucking backseat and flinging piss out of the fucking window. And I'm like, guys, I am not well. I really just wanted to get home and go to sleep so fucking bad. I was so embarrassed. I was so over that night. Yeah.
Could you imagine being in a flinging her, grabbing your shirt?
Guys, I need to say this, and I also might again get canceled for this comment, but like quite literally, my life has been so boring, and you've lived a Dateline episode, a little bit of Slumdog Millionaire, and like 4 other things.
And that's just the fucking beginning, bitch. There's so much more.
Slumdog
Like,
Millionaire.
I grew up next to a really famous hotel in a rich area where nobody messed with anybody, and the worst thing that ever happened is one time this guy knocked on the door and we all called the cops because we were scared. And you're over here like living your Dateline best life, and I'm like, why are you peeing in a Yeti cup?
At least you had a Yeti cup. At least it wasn't
I
like
didn't get to
7-Eleven
fucking
cup.
piss. That's the thing, though. I had to pee and I
But
didn't
you were
get to.
driving.
Yeah, and
But
that's
you
so fucked up. Everyone else is pissing and I have to piss. I had an hour drive home from fucking Orlando to fucking Davenport.
Ooh.
That was terrible. But anyways.
I'm so worried about you.
Why?
I guess not, because like you're okay now.
Yeah.
But
Honestly,
I
I
truthfully,
cried.
I feel like you. I mean, I would do this shit too. Like, I'd pee in a Yeti cup in the car.
that's not the problem at hand. It's your mom threatening to shoot people. That's the problem.
Yeah.
No, I think
She was a
that
wild one.
I'm really glad that I met you at this point in your life, because I feel like I don't know if I would have been able to handle some of your shit. I
Yeah,
really
no,
don't.
definitely. And honestly, Gabby, if you were to like live a day with me, you'd probably be like, fuck this bitch. I'm never fucking like
No.
she's
Now I feel like I would do it for the thrill. Can I come
Do
on
it for the plot.
Can I come like
like a take
Can
your
that
kid
be an
to,
event?
take
This
your kid
is-
to work day?
This is why
should
she's
Anaiz-
on a reality TV show.
Should Anaiz start a Scared Straight program?
Stop. That's what my mom called me. That's why my mom fucking called me. She was like, "Why did you call me? Why did you say it was the real Scared Straight?" And I was like, "Well, I had to cut out a part right before that, but you are."
Oh, do you want to hear Beyond Scared Straight? My mom should form a fucking boot camp.
I would not be attending that.
So,
me either. I feel like
growing
I'm
up,
that.
like if we would fight as kids, like one time, me and my stepsister, we had 2 stepbrothers. Chris was the bad one. We had another stepbrother who was younger, and one time, me, him, Jazz, and our stepsister got into a fight, and they tied us together with horse rope, like all 4 of us, like button heads like this, tied us together.
I hope you're watching the podcast right now.
Yeah.
Not listening.
And if you're listening, now you have to go to YouTube and watch. So they tied us together with horse rope, and that was our punishment, and we sat there for 6 hours to learn to love each other.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, we
Do you
sat
guys
tied
wanna
up
hear-
for 6 hours
Do you
to
want
learn
to
to love
hear
each
about how
other.
my mom used to punish us? Well, first we had this thing called the spoon. I feel like everybody's had the spoon.
Like a switch
What's a switch?
or like a belt. Was
I
that-
mean, kind of, but it was a spoon. It was like
Was
a
it a
kitchen
wooden
spoon.
spoon?
At one point it was wooden, then it was a spatula, and it was rubber. But she would try and chase us with it, and we got to a point where we were way too fast, and she couldn't catch us, and we'd go and lock ourselves in the bathroom before she could get us, and then she'd get really bored of waiting, and then we'd just she'd leave. But the best
so
was one
lucky.
time I know, I'm really lucky. One time I kicked my brother, so my mom kicked me back, and I was just so stunned that she even did it. I was like, "What'd you do?" And she's like, "Well, the punishment fits the crime." And I was like, "I mean, you're not wrong." I was like 14.
Oh my god.
I was like, "Why are you kicking me?"
It's like a horse, like.
It wasn't hard either. She just
Okay.
I got my phone taken away. That was my form of punishment. Like, I just consistently never had a phone, and I was always grounded. I could never go anywhere.
When my mom took away my phone, I thought it was quite literally the end of the world, and I threw a temper tantrum.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I'm gonna
Every
throw some
time.
shade at Jazz real quick. When my mom would take my phone, I was always the fucking smart kid, so I had like 3 backup phones. And I would have a
You
backup
gotta
phone.
adapt in that life.
And fuck you, Jazz, because she would always fucking snitch me out. And she'd be like, Tutu has a phone, Mom. And I didn't want to tell you, but I just feel like you should know. Bitch, I fucking hate you for that.
We love Jazz. I will say, I didn't have a sister, but I had a Maddie, which was my best friend in high school and childhood.
She
Honestly,
was your
all the time.
snitch.
It was always unintentional. Like, when we were on family vacation, I wasn't allowed to have social media, and like our senior year was when like all of that was really
What a
coming out.
coincidence.
Well, it was like, I know, right? People tell me all the time that I'm in social media because my parents rejected it so hard.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
Because like I was not allowed to have anything. I think Facebook was like when I was a sophomore freshman.
Got Facebook at 10.
did you have a MySpace?
I did secretly.
Yeah,
I
me
wasn't
too.
allowed to have any of these things. Maddie got me busted for my Facebook. Maddie got me busted for my IG because she'd be like, "Oh, have you checked your IG today?" In front of my parents
Oh.
on family vacation.
Sorry, Maddie.
Oof, Maddie.
Maddie, you're canceled.
Bottom of the pyramid.
Bottom of the So yeah, so Maddie got me in trouble all the time for my social media. Or like she'd be like messaging me on Facebook Messenger, and Steph would see it, her mom, and then her mom would be like, "Oh yeah, I saw Gabby and Maddie were talking on Saturday." My mom would be like, "They weren't together on Saturday," because it was before we had texting. And she'd be like, "On Facebook," and then I'm in trouble like all the time.
Oh,
So I had like 8 accounts
I
shut down by
wish.
my parents.
I'm very jealous of you guys because I wish I could go back and have a MySpace.
I just
Like,
get,
I want
had to go
to-
to my grandma's house to sneak on her computer in the middle of the night to go on MySpace.
I just want to
Yeah,
like set up
you
my
know what-
page with the music and a background. And,
You
like,
want to talk about self-control and like really delayed gratification that we had the ability of? It was like you got to log on to your social medias like maybe once a day or every other day, and now like I can't even go 5 minutes without checking Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Like sitting here is hard for me to not pick up
I
my phone.
could
And
go like a few days. Well, I had to go a few days, and then I would check it. Now I'm like every 5 minutes. I'm like,
I have
need
to
see my
mentally take a
notifications.
break. Like this weekend, I like tried to stay off a little bit because sometimes I really envy you guys' generation because I grew up maybe up until I was 10, but once I was 10, it was everywhere, you know? So
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram.
See, I was still at 14. My brother was like in like a competitive baseball league,
Mhm.
and I was still like so untouched with the world.
that I would drive back and forth with a bike. They would do like lemonade stands, and the team would set up at different corners, and I would drive back and forth between the like lemonade stands to like manage the boys, because I was like old enough. The parents would be like, you manage the 8-year-old boys. And I would drive back and forth on the bike because I didn't have a phone. They didn't have phones. Like, I had to go check on them.
Right.
It was like a weird world.
So,
So
do you guys ever knock on your neighbor's door and be like, is Gabby free right now?
Yeah.
no,
Maddie
because the
and-
neighbors were always knocking on my door.
Maddie in high school had a key to my house, and she went to a private school, and I went to a public school.
Yeah.
And I'd get home, and
Wait.
she'd be in the house, like, drinking our milk and shit.
I'm so sorry. No one take offense to this. That is so American, because my parents would have never given anyone a key to our house.
Well, Maddie was, like, the closest thing I do have to a sister,
Yeah.
and they lived, like, 4
You guys knew her like a
houses
long,
down.
long time.
Since I was 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
That
so
makes
like
sense.
high school, like she had a key to the house, and she'd go in and she'd like make herself a bagel and wait for me, because her school. So we lived like actually like 2 streets down from each other, but like walking distance. And then her high school she went to a private school, so it was like grade school to high school. It was in the middle of our 2 houses, so sometimes she would just walk from there to my house instead of home. And I went to high school, and it was like 10 minutes away.
Mhm.
So I had to drive, or my mom was picking me up, stuff like that. So she would just be at the house when we got home.
Wow.
But like, also I did grow up until about, I want to say 17, where we didn't lock the doors, because I lived in suburbia, so we didn't have to lock the doors.
That sounds like
It was
heaven.
before people were just like walking into people's houses and stealing their kids and dogs.
Wait, I feel like this would be really good for the pod. I need to mention this. Did I ever tell you guys about how my mom caught me smoking weed in high school and chopped my hair on Facebook Live?
Wait, what?
You have told me about this, but tell Jordan.
So, when
It's bad.
I have the Facebook Live, actually,
She
I can
did
show
it
you
to
later.
Jazz too, right?
Yeah, it was me and Jazz. So when we were, what year was this?
Well, you have
My
the
sophomore.
Facebook Live?
Yeah, I can show
Can
you.
we stitch it into this?
Yeah, if you want. So my mom, basically, I had went to school. Can I get a top off too? We had went to school, and my mom said, "It's okay." So preface: this was Friday. I was I was a culinary, like in our high school we had academies, so I was technically like a culinary major. I took culinary for 4 years,
Okay.
so I had a culinary class first and second period.
Was it private? Did you have to pay to go
No,
there?
our school, Lake Region, their whole thing was academies. So we had a medical, ROTC academy, child care academy, culinary academy. It had different academies that every kid is in,
It's very European of them.
which I love that, honestly.
Don't spell.
So I was in the culinary academy, and I had culinary first and second period. I used to get blasted in the high school parking lot with my best friend every morning. I might get
And then
canceled for
cook.
this. And then I swear,
And
my
then she used
culinary
fire.
teacher, my culinary teacher fucking hated me, because he'd be like, "Bro, you always come up with the craziest shit, and sometimes it works, but a lot of times it doesn't." One time I remember I came in to make a caramel sauce, and I had a whole pot of hard caramel because I didn't put cream.
I wish I found that
What?
funny, but I've never made caramel, so I don't know how funny that is.
It's pretty funny because it was a pot of
Okay,
caramel, like
hold on.
hard.
Why did she cut your hair?
So listen, so it's Friday morning.
Listen, Linda, listen.
I'm hyped. I asked my best friend, I was like, "Yo, take me to the gas station so I can buy some chocolate for Friday." This was the day my culinary teacher let us
Yeah.
deep fry anything we want.
Deep fry?
Yeah, it
That's
was called
weird.
Friday. Once a
I would
year.
want a turkey.
Once a year on a Friday. I wanted like fried Oreos and Snickers and all that
Okay.
shit. So I was like, "Take me to the gas station, let me buy candy."
Turkey.
Honestly, I don't even know what to say to that, Jordan.
I'm not well right
I
now.
have to pee
Most
so
kids-
bad.
Okay, tell
Okay,
your story.
Let me finish this. Okay, so it's Friday, so I went to the gas station, bought all my candy. I'm fucking hyped. I'm
Yeah.
about to literally spark up in the high school parking lot. I was a bad kid. And I get a text from my mom, and it's like a picture of like a little blunt clip. And I was like, and she's like, "You're such a fucking idiot." And I was like, "What is that?" And she was like,
I want to note that
What
you-
is that?
I want to note that your mom's mad about this, but your mom has done like a billion things 10 times worse than this.
I'm about to spark up. Literally, like, me and my best friend.
What is this?
No, me and my best friend used to bring a fucking like 6-foot bong.
Like
and we would
a king cone? Like this one?
like a big ass bong, maybe not 6 foot, but one of those big bongs.
I just really am not a weed girly, but I
You're
tried
not.
it all because my roommate from high school, my best friend from high school that moved here with me, She used to be a drug dealer. I'm not gonna say her name, but she did. She had a little BlackBerry and like ran around with that. It cracked me up. So like that was my only exposure. I can say to this day I have never purchased weed. Ever.
Also, I feel like the drug dealer community was just so much more secure before social media.
Oh, for sure.
Fair. Okay,
wait.
Anyways,
finish your story.
Haircut.
So, haircut. So, she sends me this picture. I'm about to spark up, and I was like, fuck, take this away from me. I can't right now. So, she's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And I was like, girl, I need you to take whatever I brought, because I had brought some gas to school. I was like, take this. Go
Some
home.
gas to school.
I was like, go home.
Not gasoline, kids.
Yes. Anyways, that's such a millennial thing to say, Gabby.
Not gasoline.
I am a millennial.
So now every time you say something that's like millennial, I'm gonna say it, and every time I say something Gen Z, you gotta call me out.
I do call you out on it
Continue to
every
do
time.
that.
Okay.
So I was like, girl, take this, go home, because I just feel like something crazy is about to happen. So I go to my first period, and I'm literally shitting myself. Like, I just knew something was coming. Sure enough, in walk the deputies. Anaiz Garcia. Yep, here's me.
Were
Take
you
me.
high?
No, I didn't. As soon as she texted me, I was about to, and I didn't.
Okay.
So I was solid. But I had a black and mild in my book bag.
Honestly, not as
A
bad.
black and mild in my book bag.
That's not as bad
What's
as it
that?
could have been.
You don't.
You know what a black and mild is?
Guys, I don't do
A
drugs.
black and mild is not drugs, Gabby.
What is it?
It's like a.
I'm going to
A
force feed you a black and mild.
Yo, I do not want to see a black and mild to save my life.
With a wooden tip.
What is it?
It's like a cigarette on steroids.
Yeah, literally.
Guys, I'm allergic to cigarettes. That's why.
Well, it's like.
But how
it's
in
like
college did you never see a black and mild?
You definitely have.
I didn't hang around anybody that smoked because I'm allergic. I left
Okay.
the room when people would smoke.
But it's not like a cigarette smoke.
But if she's allergic to tobacco, a black and mild would be too.
I
Anyways,
just, like, when I see somebody light up, first of all, I can smell it instantly. I know every time you've smoked and you come in here. You know that, right?
yeah.
I sit farther away from you when you have it fresh
Yeah.
on you. I know you've noticed.
That's why now I try to smoke, like, give it like 30 minutes to air out the
She
car.
goes outside for a really long time sometimes, too. And I'm like, I know she's not really on the phone.
No, I really do be on the phone, but I'll tell you about that later. I can't speak about that on the podcast.
Regardless, I'm like highly allergic to the point where I break out in hives and like I get really, really sick.
I be trying to spray myself, but sometimes it's just not enough.
It's
So we
really,
can't
it has
force
to be
feed
like,
you a black and
no.
mild.
It'd be like if
Damn.
you hug me or if I smoke it or I inhale it.
Okay.
Like, the smell's annoying to me, but like if you're not like all up in my grill,
Yeah.
it's fine. But one time in high school, I had a friend that he smoked cigarettes and I didn't know he had, and he came into the training room because I was an athletic trainer and he was the basketball manager. Shout out to Ray. He got me into a lot of trouble in high school. We can talk about that another day. But he hugged me once after smoking cigarettes. I broke out in full hives. My athletic trainer had to like pump me with
Oh, fuck.
what's that thing?
EpiPen?
An EpiPen.
I was
and
thinking Narcan.
That's for overdoses, Jordan. I
and
carry
then
Narcan.
and then some Benadryl, and I was fine. But like I left
Oh,
like
shit.
rashy and like couldn't breathe. It was not good.
Yeah.
Okay, can we get back to your,
So-
because I'm literally about to pee in a Yeti cup.
Okay, so the school resource officer, the sheriff, walks
Okay.
into the Anaiz Garcia, put me out into the hallway, put me in cuffs. She told them how to ounce on me.
What?
Yeah.
So
So
your mom got you arrested.
I wasn't really arrested. They were just putting on a
Scaring
show.
you?
Yeah, scaring me. She asked them to scare me. So, bitch,
That's really funny coming
stupid
from this
asses
woman.
cuff me and walk in front of me. My mom puts on my backpack. My little black and mild is sticking out of the pocket. Y'all gotta watch. They have to watch the YouTube video now
Yeah.
to understand.
Yeah.
So we go. They search my stuff. Obviously, I had nothing on me, so I was fine. Then they go and get my sister out of class. They didn't do nothing to my sister because my mom assumed everything was mine. They just grabbed my sister. We go to my grandma's. My mom is fucking snapping, Jordan. Snapping. She ends up taking us, cuts our hair. My hair was like this, like at an angle. Cuts our shoes, cuts our jackets, tapes it together with clear duct tape. And says, come on, get in the car. You guys are hungry? Let's get in the car. We go to the Chick-fil-A next door to my school where everyone is. And it's 2:30 in the afternoon, so everyone's out of school now. And she goes, oh, you guys are hungry. You missed lunch, right? She sits us at a booth. She goes, here's $10. If you want to eat, go buy yourself food. I had taped up fucking Sperry's with clear duct tape. My hair is at a fucking angle. I had long hair up to my ass. So can you imagine me with hair up to my ears at a fucking angle? I was so pissed. I was like, I'm not eating. And my sister, she was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm eating. So my sister took the $10 and went to go get food, right? And when she got back, I tried to steal a french fry. Mom was like, you don't want to take the $10 and go buy your food? Now you're fucked. So I sat there. I was not going to be embarrassed. I was the popular. Ask my sister, out of me and her, I know a lot of people. I was not about to get up with the duct tape Sperry's. I wouldn't say popular because not everyone was my friend, but a lot of people knew me. And I was not going to get up
She's
with
like,
clear
nobody-
duct tape Sperry's.
It's another reason why I'm glad I didn't grow up when she did. Camera phones.
Yeah, no. Could you imagine if that would have been caught? It was already caught in 4K on Facebook
Do
Live.
you want to see
My
my
mom is
mirror
like-
selfies with my BlackBerry?
There's-
Because they're so bad.
There
My
is
mom is
no
like-
photos of me from age 13 to like 15. I wouldn't let anybody take a picture of me.
Oh, I'll show you guys my
Oh, I have
Facebook, and you guys
some
are going to
bad
cringe.
ones.
You guys are going to be grateful to not be part of my generation when I show you my Facebook in a few minutes.
I don't want to see it.
My mom's on Facebook Live, and she's like, and this is why you're hard on your kids, because I'd rather be damned that she's a drug addict smoking weed and a crackhead on the streets. I'd rather put her in jail. And I'm like, now I'm a successful homeowner, businesswoman, and I'm a pothead, so.
I have a lot of questions, but we're not.
I think
There's
we
a
need
lot
part
more.
two.
There's a lot more to spill. That's just the
Drop
like,
your questions.
Drop your questions and we'll ask them next
Drop
time.
your hate comments. Whatever you got.
just know
Jordan's
that
really into. Somebody
I
left a
fired
hate.
back.
Someone did. leave
Someone left us a
comment on
hate
YouTube.
comment
You
because
didn't show me.
well, apparently I got all the facts wrong of the Sharon
Of
Tate
what?
murder.
Just like, shut up. We literally prefaced
Is that
the
the
episode by
lady
saying
who
we
died,
just
her
Googled
husband killed her?
this.
No, that was the Manson murders.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. I need to watch the podcast.
That was last week's episode.
Yeah.
When you guys are
So.
seeing this, but yeah, no, we got a hate comment and Jordan sends it to me like exuberantly happy and she's like, oh my god, look at this comment we got, and I'm like, Jordan, they're literally shitting on us, and she's like, it's so cool.
A hate comment means you're succeeding.
That's what I'm saying.
I was like, they're
I'm like,
literally
this
telling me I'm
random ass
stupid.
person that we do not know just watched our entire
I
podcast.
want you to know that this person's account name was the Sharon Tate fan account.
Yeah.
So clearly they sit around
Yeah.
and wait for people to get facts
Okay,
wrong.
listen,
Yes.
honestly though, they're probably very invested into those murders, so.
Yeah, clearly.
Let
If they
them live
need
their
it, they're
best
using
life.
It was-
it.
they left a paragraph.
What did
it
they
was
say?
long. We'll read it to you later.
Anyways, any final comments for your fans?
Final comments for my fans.
I have a final comment for Jordan.
No, I don't want to hear it. No, I'm kidding.
Gabby, give your
I was-
finals and then I'll
I was
close.
just thinking, like, all I'm thinking about is that we have another episode to film for this series,
Yeah.
the criminal justice series. And I was just thinking, like, why don't we film it on Friday before we go out for St. Patrick's Day and we wear our green suits?
Hell yeah. I think I'm going to get a green tutu.
I'm not going to wear a tutu.
I have to.
Gotta cover your badonka.
I do.
I figured
It's
so.
like, it's out, and I was like, girl.
Kyle said,
Girl.
if you can see lips, if you know what kind of lips I'm
Yes.
talking about, he's like, then you gotta figure something out. And I was like, I'll wear a cup.
That's what I told him to
A
do.
jockstrap?
Yeah, why not?
Because I have to fart so bad.
Just do it.
Honestly, I'm about to order one and wear and put on a dildo, like, underneath and just confuse the fuck out of people. Did you just fucking fart? My toes just grazed Gabby's arm.
Oh, we're getting way too comfortable in front of the camera. Okay, we're leaving. Thank you so much for coming
Wait,
on.
you let me close out.
Oh yeah, close out, close out.
All right. So, I know we're laughing, but if you ever stop, I can't close this out the way I want to. So, I guess I'll just leave this on a positive note. I love all of y'all.